welcome. I'm Tim and this is TimBatSea. And we are just a little bit further south of Philly in the Delaware River. Coming up to a place called Eddystone. Here's a Boeing plant. I think they make the Chinook helicopters there. Once in a while you see a couple of them being tested and delivered and that sort of stuff. I think that's what they do over there. But then there's a power plant over here. But I don't know if you can see it or not, are going up to see this blue ship up there where the two container cranes are? We're going to go up to a little teeny ship up there, and that might pose its own problems, only that the ship is very small, and so sometimes it's hard to get a good spot on it. Give you a little idea here. This is us. This is us right here, and if I zoom this out, we'll be going right here. So we'll be coming up here, and the tide is going like that. So it's going to be a fair tide landing. So I want to come up here like this, and I want to go over like that and back down onto the ship. At least that's my plan right now. This guy just got underway, and he was asking if be all right if he came by, and I said, yeah, not a problem, because as you can see, we're just going to go straight and cut right out of the channel without even altering course. So that's the plan right now. This is a different barge than we usually run, but I love this barge because it's got a very deep notch, and something that makes this barge special is that a lot of its piping is in the tanks. Now obviously you can see some tanks aboard on top of the barge there, but the majority of the tanks that the pipes that run between the different tanks are all internal, so it makes it very nice. Having it be relatively short as opposed to how broad it is, and with this really super deep notch, usually becomes very, very maneuverable. So if I mess this up, I won't have anybody to blame except myself. And, that's usually the case anyway, but hopefully we won't mess it up. Hopefully everything will be all right. I've called the tankerman, and he's put our starboard side Yokohamas down. Yokohamas are what we call the fenders, great big fenders there. And I told the guys down below that it would just be a little while. So we're coming up on a 6-minute line here. All right, Chief, about 6 minutes. Hey, Chief. Yeah. You got some time.
Repeat that?
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know that we got 6 minutes to go.
Sounds good.
So you can see the tide working on the green buoy as we come by here, and if you're wondering why I'm coming so close, it's because the tide's going to be pushing me that way because the river starts to turn like that. So I want to be as high on the ship as I can without going on the other side of the buoy. But you can see the current, you know, from the tide working against the buoy there. So we should have quite a fair tide going in there. That's all right. Like I say, the only problem that I have to really be careful of is to make sure that I get my front Yokohama on the flat of the ship in case my stern starts to roll in underneath their stern, underneath the rake of their stern. I want to be able to have something up there against. And normally that wouldn't be an issue because the ships are so tall. Because this one's, you know, it's squat in the water, it's kind of an issue. I mean, not an issue, I just got to make sure that the Yokohama is, I can't see where it is because it's down over the side. So I got to make sure those guys have the Yokohama in the right position so that if I were to start sliding underneath the rake, I could push against that forward Yokohama to snap the stern out. But I think that once we get a line up there, And we're going to want to get something in the stern after we get a bow line. If you see, there are some people that might say, why don't you just get a stern line first? The problem with that is that I believe, because the ship is so short, I believe that at least the tug, like us, let alone part of the barge, will be sticking after the ship. I don't know where the connection is, but I assume it's going to be right in the front of their house. You know, the big white structure straight ahead. So it'll be hard to get a stern line out, even though, and if I were able to get a stern line out first, then the tide, once I got that line out, the tide would hold us right to the ship. But because I think I'm going to have to do that with the bow line, you know, with a spring line up there in the bow, I got to be really careful not to get the stern on either side of the tide. I want the tide right directly behind me. Not on, if it's on the port side, it'll push me into the ship. If it's on the starboard side, it'll rip me right off the ship. But one thing at a time. Zoom my chart plotter in so I can see how I do with my predictor line. And right now I slowed down from almost 9 knots with this fair tide down to 6 knots right now. But what's good is that my predictor line is basically straight ahead. It might be a degree or two off to the port, but as long as it's basically straight ahead and not like 30 degrees to starboard, then the tide is still behind me. Because eventually when we get up there, the tide will be going that way. That's where I'll be pointed at the ship, but we'll be falling down all the time. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Now we're down to 5.8, 5.7. Got it just back in clutches, just letting everything slow down because it's a fair tide. We will have, we slow down. It takes longer to slow down, is what I'm trying to say. All right, the chief is out there with his deckhand trainee. Deckhand trainee is, well, let's see, it's Sunday, so he's not quite a week into the job, but he's been doing a fine job so far.
What channel are you working on?
83 Alpha.
Okay.
That's my tankerman there, and he's calling me on the house channel. We have three radios. I got you. We got 3 radios. One to talk to other ships, one to talk to my guys, and another one to on the house channel if somebody needs to get in touch with us. Down to 5.3 knots. Getting closer all the time. At this point, I'm going to secure my radar. I've talked about that in the past. That usually, especially a little ship like this, they usually won't mind so much because they'll be below the radiation, but it makes people feel better when you shut that thing off. And certainly, we're too close to have it really be beneficial to us. So luckily, that predictor line. It's starting to move downriver, but it's not so bad. We're at 5.2 knots. Like I say, as long as I have forward progress, I'm doing good. Eventually, I'm going to have to come hard left and start swinging the stern over there. But if I do that now, it'll take longer to get up to the ship. So I think what I'm going to tell the boys is that I think we're going to get on the flat of the ship, make sure that we have people on the ship to catch a line, and then back up. All right, you got me, Chief? Okay, so I think what my plan is going to be a fair tide landing, and because I don't know if we have anybody on the ship ready for us, my plan, because I'm a little wigged out about that rake up there, is to probably land somewhat on the flat of the ship, and then when we see somebody, we'll back up into position.
Roger that.
Okay, we're down to 5 knots. I'm going all stop now because with this fair tide, I don't think we're going to slow down any more than this if I keep them in clutch. Okay, so you can kind of see the mast of the barge is going a little bit to the left, and falling falling down a little bit with the tide as expected, but it's okay. Now we're still coasting, doing 4.7 knots. So I'm going to start backing. We need to take some way off here. It's not a fully loaded barge. It just has a couple products on here for this one job, but still, I don't have the backing power I'm used to with the 4200s. All right, now I'm down to 3.5 knots. That ought to be good. Now I'll stop down to 3.1 knot, and my predictor line is starting to move to the left, which means that I'm starting to slide sideways. See the bow is coming over, and that's not a bad thing. You know what? Because I'm not in gear right now, I'm going to put my rudder hard over to port, because remember that I don't get a lot of steerage because I only got 2.5 knots of current going by the rudder, and with a fair tide probably even less than that. But this way I'll be able to snap that bow out when I need to. All right, right now I'm clutched to stern on my port engine. Trying to once again slow it down, but also get my stern. I want to get my stern that way, and I want to get the bow that way. I don't want to do a twist yet because I want to close the distance between us and the ship. Hopefully now you can see we're going just about sideways now, which is not what I want. So I think we'll just keep doing this. You know what, now, oh, Chief's waving to somebody, so he's trying to get somebody's attention. Okay, so now I've stopped my reversing engine. I'm coming ahead with my starboard engine. Once again, the wheel is hard to port. Try to swing things around. Chief, how much have we got between the bow and us, them?
Ahead of us, 100 feet. We're about 60 wide.
All right, so because it's so small here, I'm just going to get flat, walk it over, and back it up.
Okay, looks like they're ready for us. Got 3 guys in a even line.
Beautiful. Make sure that Yokohama is low enough that it catches them and not the, doesn't go. I'm sure Cordy's got it down far enough.
It's all the way on the bow, and I told him we probably had to raise the one on the stern to catch the ship without going under it.
All right, how far off now, the shortest distance?
50 feet.
All right. Now the rudder is still hard to port, and I'm doing a right twist to try to minimize the bow coming out, but start squeezing the stern over. The bow is going to come out anyway. We're down to 2 knots. You see the ship's just about as big as the barge is.
Got a whole lot of chocks on this thing. Looks like we got one coming up, probably about another 40 here.
All right, no problem. Like I said, let me get over there. And we're still thinking the connection's right in front of the house. Is that about right?
Trying to figure that out now. He's pointing towards the house, so yeah, probably back there.
Okay, so now I've eased my rudder to keep that
40 wide.
To keep that bow from falling out too much. And you know what? I'm having trouble stopping this thing. I'm hooked up a stern on one edge, and she just keeps wanting to go. So now I'm going to put the rudder hard to port again, because now because I've got so much tide working here, this pinch, this angle that I have over here, that meant the water going between us is not going to help us.
A little further forward than we expected, about where they're dropping that container right now. So,
oh, that's fantastic. Good deal. That'll work out great for us. All right, so now everything's coming in. I'm going to switch, leave my rudder the way it is, and now what I'm doing is do a left twist.
on the bow.
Because remember, how I have the bow in and the stern out is less than ideal.
Yeah, you can kind of flat the way this brake comes out here on the bow flares.
Yep, working on it right now. So now, because of that ebb tide, the water coming over here is going to push us off. So I need to make this angle standing with the orange suit, it looks like there's a connection right there, which is brilliant. Usually these little ships have them all the way aft, and it's really hard to do that. All right, so as we flatten out, I'm going to switch my engines so that they start walking in it, and the bow hopefully won't move out as much as it's moving right now. So now I go, I'll stop, let the engines come to a stop. Now I'm going to do a right twist, still with a hard port wheel. Actually, I'll probably soften that wheel up down to about 15 degrees, so that way we slow the bow down a little bit. Good about this is that the stern is going over there, and I'll be able to start backing up, and hopefully when I back up I'll be able to utilize the ebb tide as my assist tug. A little bit more of an angle on there. Okay, so I'm going to leave my one engine in I left my starboard engine astern, and now I got both engines going astern. Try to back us in like this.
Alright, 30 wide on your stern.
And because of this angle, we should start sliding over. All right, we'll all stop. All right, very good.
And both in 2 different spots. Gordon's trying to figure that out now. I don't know if it's 2 products of them or not.
Yeah, even if it's the one by the guy in the blue right there, that's still going to work out good for us. It's much better than it being back at the house. So look, I'm just going to keep coming in like this until we get up flat, and then by then we'll figure out where the whole connection is and all that sort of stuff.
Roger.
Okay. So, you guys can see this or not? Here's the stern.
Yeah, Gordon says they got 2 products, 2 different connections spaced out, so he's going to try to get it right in the middle.
Very good. Now I'm all stopped, but I'm putting my rudder hard to right
on the stern
because I'm worried about our stern coming into them. So I'm doing a hard right twist now to make sure that we don't close on those 2. And that will start bringing the bow over. There we go.
10 to go on the stern.
All right. Bring you back over here. Oops, sorry. There you go. Now everything's falling into place. I'm all stopped. I'm going to put my rudder amidship just in case I have to go one way or the other. Letting it fall in.
Bow's folding in all the time.
Okay, I'm a little concerned.
20-25 on the bow.
I'm concerned
on the stern.
because I've got a lot of movement in the bow. And there we go.
Try to keep the bow from folding in just for a second. Gordon's going to try to lower that yoke.
Alright.
Alright, he got it in time. It was a little high. It looked like it was going to hit the handrails, but he got it down.
Alright, see if you can grab a line.
Gear touched up.
Can you get a line out?
Yep.
Alright. As far as where we are for the position, I have no idea. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to lift the stern of the tugboat off of the ship. I don't really want to lift the stern off, but the bow's coming off, so I need to get that back over there. There we go. There we go. Now it's working. Okay. Threw a line over. Now I can do a little bit of a walk here. So right at just about midship, doing
okay, Tim, this is going to be a back in line. I got you that.
All right. How far back do you want me to go?
Let's just get against the ship for now. I'm making this line fast now. If he's sending out a line, it can be a forward line too.
All right. When he gets in position and everything gets cool, get me a stern line because of the ebb tide. Once you get these done. A little bit hard holding it right here. Now I got to get my rudder ready in case the tide starts pulling the stern of the barge off. Watching it, it doesn't seem so bad to me.
Okay, Okay, you got forward and action springs up here on the bow. I'm heading to the stern.
Beautiful, good deal. Right in the log. 10:30 first line. Gordon's wrapping that up. Gordon's a good old Maine boy. He's been with the company longer than I have, and it's really fun. He lives right close to where my father is, and when I was up spending time with my dad, Gordon and his wife came over and we went out and had dinner together, and it was really fun. It's kind of nice hanging out with guys outside of work, you know, where you've been seeing them for 10, 15 years at work, and it's kind of fun to see them in a less than professional atmosphere. Gordon, any ideas on the connection? Are we good, or we got to go forward or back, or we don't know yet?
Gordon, can you hear the captain?
Filipino crew over here. The line's down to these guys. Okay, so it looks like the stern's coming off a little bit, so I am going to rotate the stern in with a left twist.
Gordon says he needs 30 feet ahead, so we're going to hold off on sending this line out.
Okay. You and Junior want to run that, adjust those lines and have Gordon spot us?
Yeah, we're heading up now.
Very good. Okay, so I guess we got to go 30 feet ahead, which should make things better as far as landing on the flat of the ship. I always thought that if I were going to be working on a ship, you'd either want to be on a really, really, really big, super ultra large container vessel, or it might be really cool to be on one of these little coastal ones that just like, I think maybe this one goes to Bermuda or something like that. I don't know where it goes, but it's so small. Probably a lot tighter crew, you know. Smaller crews usually hang out better together, you know. All right, Chief, so I've got clutch ahead one engine and you've got a fair tide pushing me that way. When you're ready to go, let me know and I'll stop, just because you're going to have some pressure against the line that's holding me back.
Yeah, I need you to do that now. We're getting ready to take that off now.
All right, I'm all stopped. Let me know if you want me to back up a little bit. Looks like the guys are arguing with the tankerman on deck. Oh. Yeah, I don't know sign language, but I'm seeing a lot of hand gestures. Chief is waving up there, trying to get somebody up there to move a line for him.
Just keep working into this line. I don't know what the communication problem is with this ship, but having trouble getting them to come down here.
Roger that. So, interestingly enough, I learned something when I went to VTS in New York, the Coast Guard's Vessel Traffic Services, and did a training session with them where I gave a 3-hour presentation about tug and barge operations, and I had a tankerman that was supposed to do the presentation with me. Unfortunately, work got busy, he couldn't make it.
Have a rank and file with them.
Say again?
We had to have a rank and file. The chief and the chief's mate, the chief's second engineer couldn't do the line. They had to wait for somebody else.
Oh, okay. Strict adhesion to union policy, I guess.
Yeah, but my policy is if you don't get the line, we ain't giving you fuel.
Right? Okay, so it looks like we're moving, so I'm going to straighten my rudder out.
Alright, bow line's off. I'm going to turn the backing spring into a forward spring.
Alright, here we go. Now I got to keep that bow from coming off. So I've got hard right wheel, and I'm coming ahead on my port engine to drive that bow over. It's going to lift the stern off, but that's,
Yeah, we got another 30 feet to go.
but that's going to be alright. See, we're falling off the ship all the time. So now what I'm going to do is put my rudder about midship and do a twist, you know, to try to walk it over to the right. Because I'm falling off all the time. Alright, now it looks like the bow's coming in. So I'll give it a little bit more left wheel. There we go. That's straighten that right out. Now, okay, now when
Alright, our headway's about stopped.
yeah, I'm just trying to walk it over to keep us from falling off.
I'm trying to keep a little tension on this first line to hold us in as well.
Thank you. So anyway, one thing that the tankerman that helped me with my presentation about explained that I was unaware of, and that's that deck officers on these ships, and you remember almost all of the ships, we hardly have any ships in the U.S. merchant fleet. They're almost all foreign, with foreign crews, and deck officers like the captain, chief
Yeah,
mate.
we're about 10 more feet, I think.
10 more feet.
Yeah.
So captain, chief mate, second mate, and third mate, they all have to speak
I'm gonna
English.
get it even with that upright. Where I'm standing needs to be even with that upright. We'll be alright.
All right, I can't see that, Gordon. So when we get there, you just stop me. All right.
Oh, okay.
So the chief engineer and engineering departments
Yeah, about 5 feet.
do not.
Alright, killer headway for us. We're moving kind of quick.
All right. Putting the brakes on here.
Alright, a little more ahead. I'm sorry you killed it. You killed it pretty quick, but you probably need a few more feet.
All right, easing into it.
Yeah, I think we can make this work. Just wrap that one up and I think we'll make it work.
Yeah. So the reason.
Alright, forward spring is wrapped up. Need to come in about 2 or 3 feet so the yoke touches the ship.
All right. The reason why that's a big deal is that the deck officers have very little to do with the bunkering operations. It's usually run on the ship side just through the chief engineer. And the reason why that's important is that the chief engineer doesn't have a mandate to speak English where the deck officers do. So that's kind of a big deal. These guys right over here. See him reaching through the holes to pull the line through. That's not going to work because you see how that goes through that chalk? These guys don't realize that's not going to work. But I'll let the tankerman explain to them why. The reason why it's not going to work is that it's just going to keep the barge from going that way. It won't keep it from coming out that way. Yeah, so in this case where we have a communication error or difficulty, I've said how English is the language of the sea. Everybody speaks English. Same thing with airplanes, but that doesn't apply to the engineering department.
Taylor, 1-3.
Yeah, so just to verify what I'm doing, you see this line over here that goes over there through the chalk? Those guys picked up the line, put it over there, and put it over here. But that doesn't really do anything going straight. We want that line to come from there and come across over to here like that, so it's a better purchase. And so that's probably what's going to happen. Anyway, this video's getting long. Good God, we're almost at 30 minutes. So that's about it from here. You guys, thank you so much for watching. You guys have, you make me so proud. It's so fun doing these with you, and really appreciate it. And if you guys get anything out of these, if there's anything that you learn or like or think it's worth that of a cup of coffee, you know, hit the like button. That really helps to get the videos out to other people. Subscribe, that helps a lot. And don't be afraid to hit the super thanks if you want to buy me a cup of coffee or maybe even something better. But we'd really love to see you over on the Patreon page. Patrons get special videos. They also, private videos over there. Try to be about once every week or every other week, something like that. They also get ad-free content and early release as well. And they get to go to bed at night knowing that they're doing the right thing. Anyway, be sure to check out my other channel, SV Paquita. By the time you guys see this, hopefully Paquita will be in the water.
Right?
That is correct.
Roger that.
All right, so that's about it. You guys, thank you so much. Be safe, take care, and as always, I'll see you on the water.